Right, next up, we've got BARBOZA with Excel keyboard shortcuts. Now, Carlos is an economist by training, graduated with cum laude honors from the University of Hartford. He considers himself an Excel craftsman or a guerrilla data analyst with 10 years of experience crafting flexible and scalable spreadsheets that support data-driven decision-making, along with 7 years of cleaning data, building data models, and developing graphical displays for Power BI reporting. If you're ready, Carlos, I'm happy to hand over to you now.
Hey, Oscar. Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me well?
Loud and clear, yeah.
Nice. Okay. Now let me share my screen and see if also that is also working accordingly. Hopefully. Yep. And you can see my hands over here.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I just want to mention I gotta update that bio because a lot of people ask me, hey, where do you get? I mean, what is this guerrilla data analysis thing? So it's from a good book from Guerrilla Data Analysis by Osdu Saleh and Bill Jelen, and it's pretty beat up. You can see, but it's a phenomenal book for anybody who wants to read it. I mean, this is a good read. So that's the kind of the title for Guerrilla Data Analyst. So what I'm here to show you is keyboard shortcuts, and there's a reason why you're gonna see my fingers. Actually, there's pretty much my experience doing trainings. Well, back in the day, I've been just doing consulting these last 5 years, but I'm getting back to it. And let's just do some stretching, stretching the fingers too. That's also needed because hopefully I can get you enthused about learning keyboard shortcuts. So let's set up our presentation, and let me get that. Okay, so as you can see, I'm already doing a keyboard shortcut here, which I'm right now just doing a cha, and then I jump into another workbook, and now I'm also here. So that's one that is Alt Tab. So Alt Tab allows you to sort of jump into two windows, especially the last two that you use. So in this case are these two workbooks. Now, another keyboard shortcut here is like Windows up, and I kind of open this, and then Control page down to move to the second worksheet. I'll explain this more slowly, okay? But at least just lay back and enjoy. Hopefully this is entertaining, and I don't run out of time as well. So here, this is the thing about that I believe that there's a little bit of a learning curve with keyboard shortcuts because you can group them by interface, let me do this. Maybe I lost it there. Okay, there we go. You can group them by interface, then you can group them by navigation, then selection, then editing, and then I think there's a lot of red there, and then formatting. There we go. Formatting, then file management, charts, formulas, and also Power Query. Yes, there's keyboard shortcuts for Power Query and also pivot tables. There's also macros, which is something that I forgot to include here, but you also have keyboard shortcuts there. Now, people ask me, okay, how many keyboard shortcuts there is? Well, I have documented, and there's probably more or less. I have documented about 236. The ones that I have documented and tried out and tested, but I'll be honest, I don't know how many of these I use on a daily basis, but the ones that you will see today are the ones that I use like every minute probably. Now let's just hide this now back to its position. Hopefully I can get this right. There we go, back there. And there's this sort of analogy that I have about the keyboard shortcuts, and the analogy is, think of it as there's gonna be 4 keystrokes. They're gonna be like sort of like Control, Alt, and Shift, and also Tab. Actually, Control, Shift, Alt, and then for those that have keyboard shortcuts on laptop, kind of like this one that I have, this is the one that I use actually, the FN. And the FN is only because laptops keyboards, they have to press FN and then Shift or Control to get the function keys, which have double functions, So that's why I call it the Fantastic Four. But the reason for that is that I want you to think the keyboard shortcuts that you have to press one of these keystrokes and hold it down. You have to hold it down. And then the next one, the next combination. Why do I say the clutch analogy that you see, and let's do this correctly, right here? Because a lot of people, when I train them, I tell them, hey, do, for example, Control Shift L to put the filters, and they do this. And then they do this, like, no. I tell them, you have to hold Shift and Control, and then the L. Oh, or sometimes they do Control Shift, they drop it, and then do the L. And I tell them, no, it doesn't work like that. So you have to hold down Control and Shift, and then the next keystroke. But sometimes for a lot of people, that's not intuitive. It's not logical. So that's why I think of think of it as, do you drive? Do you drive standard? It's like, yeah. Okay, so think of it of the clutch. You have to press the clutch in order to shift. So if you don't do that, of course, you're gonna be frustrated and you're gonna be like, oh, the car is not working, But that's the thing. You got to think of the clutch. And the clutch is sort of, as if people know how to drive here, you got to press down it and then you can shift. So same thing with keyboard shortcuts, and there's a whole mechanism of the clutch in a car, If you don't press, you cannot switch, okay? And then once you know this, you can pretty much drive as smooth as possible with keyboard shortcuts in Excel. So hopefully that analogy stay with you. And hopefully that reason why you see my hands right here. So now Control Shift L, pretty much the first one, is paramount. This is probably the one that I use the most because I'm always analyzing data and I bring data, small data sets or small data samples into my Excel environment and just work it there. So now, for example, now I'm gonna jump here onto this table. And the first thing that I'm gonna do is actually do, like, for example, I can do Control asterisk and then Control T, and then Control T is gonna add me a table here. Now I'm gonna put it here and I'm just click OK. Funny that I'm using the mouse and the keyboard, right? But okay. So for example, now, and let's do maybe a keyboard shortcut that I'm already getting my head off, so you can see the zoom in. So you can see the button right there, this button, just in case, this one. And that's the filter button. And you can place it with your keyboard shortcut, and the keyboard shortcut is the one on top, Control Shift L. But again, a lot of people, when I tell them the keyboard shortcut, they do this. And I tell them, no, that doesn't work. Like, okay, how about Control Shift, hold it down, and then press L, and then do this, drop it, and then do L, and then it doesn't work. So I tell them, no, you have to hold down Shift, Control, and then the L. I think for a lot of folks right now might think, oh, it's been my experience doing training in person that I saw people struggling with learning keyboard shortcuts. So that's why I brought this part of the screen here. So now that you have placed your filters, length, the same keyboard shortcut, Control Shift, hold it down, and L. You can deactivate it and activate it. Okay, same keyboard shortcut, activate it and activate it. But bonus, you can open your keyboard, your filters. So you can Alt right here, Alt, and arrow down, and now you open the filter. And now with your arrows, you can move around, and you can open this, and with the arrow key, right arrow key, and you can open that option, or you can go to this option and then move yourself. So you can navigate pretty much on this place right here. And again, if for example you do Alt, arrow down, and then E right here as an elephant, you jump into the search bar, and then you can just say yes, and then do enter, and then it filters everything that is yes. If you want to remove the filters, Control Shift L just to remove it again and put it back. Control Shift L. You can then open it and then jump to E, and then, well, this one won't help that much. Maybe let's go to this one right here. Yeah, customer name, Alt arrow down, then E, and see there right there, E, and then I do arrow down, and then I can move around these options. And people tell me, how can I select those options with a keyboard? Okay, so if you're about to select a couple of them, do first select all and space bar, and then select the ones that you want to go. Okay, so I want Aaron, I want Adrian, I want Alan, and I want Alejandro. Perfect. So now you can press enter right away. Why? Because right here, there's already a button that is selected, pretty much pre-selected, the OK button. You can see that it's bolded or it has a border as compared to the cancel button that doesn't have a bolder black border. Okay, so now escape. Ooh, So let's just deselect, select a couple other ones, and right here, and yes, and click enter. Now I just selected those persons, and you can see that the filter is pretty much placed because you can see the filter button right there being signaling that is filter. Just in case, Oscar, you can see my screen that just zoomed in, right?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's gonna work too. That's also good. All right. So that's Control Shift L again, keyboard shortcut that I use a lot. Now let's go to the next one. Next one is Control Backspace. Yes, I use this one a lot because, for example, say that you need to select this whole table. A lot of people do Control E as an elephant. Oh, no, wait. Control A. Control All. So as you do this, it brings you to the most to the bottom right corner of the table right there. But I didn't want that, so I wanted to stay where I was. So let's do that again. Control A. So then I can do Control Backspace, and it brings me back to where I was. Now you can also do Control asterisk, and you can also do the same thing and select everything there. Okay, it's the same thing. Variations, okay, but where Control Backspace really comes into play is formula building. So for example, I could be right here and I can say I want to do the sum of all these of this column. As soon as I do Control Shift and arrow down, I get to the bottom of the table, so you can see there, but I don't want that. I want to get back to it. So what I see a lot of folks and this is classic, and they do some, okay? They know the keyboard shortcut of Control Shift, arrow down, and then with the keyboard, they scroll up. And it could be a huge table, and then you can see them scrolling all the way up and then clicking here to go faster, and they still do this. I'm like, no. Stop it. Do sum, select everything here, Control Shift, hold it, arrow down, and then Control Backspace, and you get back to the formula. Sum, select the whole column, Control Backspace, and then you can do enter. And then it's like a way to get back to where you're building the formula. Another way that you can do, another bonus, is that you can do sum and then get to that column. And because you're working with tables, you can do Control spacebar. And then you get to select the whole column, okay? But again, you get back to the bottom. So Control Backspace and then enter or Control Enter. And then you stay there, you go back to it. Oh, this is good because now I pressed out a window that a lot of people hate, and they're like, oh, every time I press F1, that appears. Well, I can just tell you that you can disappear it with doing Control Alt Spacebar. Actually, let's press F1 again, Control Alt Spacebar. If I do F6, and then Control Alt Spacebar, there we go. So I don't know what happened. So with all, this is what the keyboard shortcut is. Control Alt Spacebars opens that corner right there, opens that options right there. So what you gotta do later is just with your arrow, go to close or press C. You can press C. There's like an underline under the C that you can press, or you can just move with your keyboard shortcut and then enter. So again, with your keyboard, you can close down that sort of annoying, for some people, window, but for other people, it's a window that can offer you to know way more of Excel and function, like formula wise, okay? All right, so keep going, let's keep going. We're going on number 3. Okay, Control Alt V is another one that I used a lot because nowadays you have Control Shift V, which does the same, but let me show you what this one does. This is especially still works for the people who may have, like for example, the previous versions of Excel. So for example, what a lot of people do is that they, for example, manually grab a column like this and they copy it, and then they go to another like empty space or another workbook and they paste it. But sometimes they're like, oh, they paste it with the format that is included. And sometimes I also see them going click here, removing each individual kind of like format that it is. So it's like funny because you can tell them, hey, look, you can just copy that and do Control Alt V, and you get the Paste Special window. And then you can just move arrow down and get to values and then enter, and then you paste it like without formatting and easy, okay? But there's more to that. It's not only that. Let's do Control Alt, hold it down, okay? Clutch analogy, V, and then you can also paste just the formulas, just the values, just the formats, and many other ones. For example, you can also transpose that paste. You can also transpose it if necessary. So again, Control Alt V might seem banal nowadays, because I know a lot of MVPs and I also have now Control Shift V, which does the same, but Control Alt V will still work. So let's go to the next one. Control T, I just did it again, which was converting this range into a table, okay? We can again repeat it if you want to. Maybe we can just copy this, Control C, okay, go here, and then just do Control Alt V, do values, and then we can do, well, that's only because I have remove duplicates. Well, okay, let me just do this better. Let's do unique. Okay, and then go to that column. Where do I have it? This one, stay in Providence. And then, okay, you saw that I just placed the formula on the side of the table. I just selected this column. And now what a lot of people will do is just move the scroll bar to the right. What you can do is Control Backspace, and I get back to where I was, and Control Enter. And there we go. I just get the unique items right there. So now, again, I can actually grab this, Control C, and then Control Alt V, paste it as values, and then Control T to convert this into a table. So you get the Control table window, which is that one right there. And it's gonna always ask you what is the data that you're working. And again, if you want to get to that bonus, because sometimes you go and then bring the mouse, but if you were here already selected, you can press tab. Maybe let's bring this. Okay, and you can do tab. As soon as you do tab, check out the checkbox and look at that, like dancing, like, oh, see, you can see those dots around my table has header, and you press, yep, you press the space bar, and it activates, kind of like check it, and then do okay, enter, and then because the OK button was kind of like had like a blue border and it was pre-selected. And there you go. That's as easy as you insert tables. I insert a lot of tables for the work that I do with consulting and all that. Going back again, let's continue. Control 05. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. This is my sort of zoom in approach. Whenever I'm working with huge tables, especially column wise, huge, like 250 columns, that sometimes you're like, do you really need all those columns for this? Like, oh yeah, I want all that data. I want all of it. It's like, oh, okay. But usually, what is that for? I mean, usually for zooming in and zoom out. So, for example, I'm just gonna press Control Alt again, holding it down, and then minus or plus sign. In this case, I want to back out. Initially, in Excel, you start with the 110% zoom. What do I mean by that? Right here. You see that, for example, is by default you start 100% zoom, but you can get all the way up to 10%. Okay, so you can get to 10%, which is this extreme, or you can get to 400% on this stream. All right, so now let's go back and say I want to zoom out. So Control Alt and minus. As you can see, I just zoom down. If I want to zoom in again, I just zoom in. So I do this very often because I just want to see how big this table is. And if it really fits into this, I can think, okay, I mean, it's a thin column, it's not gonna work it. But there's also another use that I give to this. For example, whenever I'm training also, or whenever I'm like showing something on a Teams call, sometimes on their other end, and also Meet or Zoom, for some reason they see a blurry. And they tell me, hey, can you just zoom in your keyboard shortcut on that section of the worksheet? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay, so this is where this keyboard shortcut comes into play, because I can, for example, show them this part right here, and they might see a blurry. But as soon as I select this portion, as that portion is gonna be like sort of the scope of the zoom in. So as soon as I do Control-Alt+, you can see how that section is like being highlighted. Kind of hard to see in it here because that's how the workbook is. But for example, let me show you. For example, I get to Spain, right there, Spain. And if I do Control-Alt+, see how like the screen is kind of adjusting to Spain and Germany, kind of like it was zoomed in to that targeted section, Spain. And the same thing is do Control-Alt-. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I hope I'm on time. Okay. Ooh, Alt-Enter spacebar, my favorite one. I have a whole mantra for this. So for example, how do we do this? Let's just delete this minus, okay. Oh, okay, so in case people want to know how do you delete that, so Control, actually I did two things. Control spacebars to select the whole column, but if I do Control spacebars again, I select the whole column. I selected the whole column from the table with the first Control spacebar, but with the second one, Control spacebar, I select the entire column. Let me just do how do you do this? Control dot to get to the streams, and then you can see here Control spacebar again. I select the whole column, and now Control minus to delete. Okay, so now back to Alt-Enter spacebar. This is what I mean. Basically, let's just zoom in a little bit. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do an equal, and I do let, and I'm gonna do my array. That's it. And then what is gonna be the array? Is gonna be this entire column selected. Control backspace. Okay. Again, I wish I could the keyboard shortcut work, but I'm gonna have to be able just to move it like this. Okay, and then these two. Let's just make space for that. Perfect. Again, let select the whole column. Control backspace. Oh, I went too fast. Let array, comma, select the whole column. Backspace. Control. Okay, here we go. So now I have array and formula profit. So this is the thing about that I see a lot of folks is that they just write one long formula to the right, and if it's longer than that, it becomes a paragraph. And I don't mind it, but for the stuff that I have to do to audit and improve or optimize whatever, I just go ahead and make it legible and write the formula downward. So I do Alt-Enter as soon as I'm into that comma. Okay, that comma that you see right there, okay. Right there, you see a little comma. I do Alt-Enter, and I do a break line. But the thing is, like, it's right at the beginning where the plus sign is. So this is a part that probably it doesn't get a lot of fans, that you have to do a space bar all the way until you get aligned with array. And now to that array, I'm just gonna say array times 1.10%, and then close the parentheses and do Control Enter. And then what I did, I just included 10% to all those values. Now I do F2, and then, for example, now comma, Alt-Enter, spacebar, all the way I get to array. And now to that array, I'm actually now gonna subtract 100 to all of those numbers. So, or actually, again, here that's not gonna work. So now here I'm just gonna put incremented array, right? And then here we do incremented array too. So, well, my bad there. Let's just do this. Incre, comma, array. There we go. Array times that. Okay, now for the incre, which I'm saying the incremented rate, which was multiplied by 10%. Now subtract 100 and Control Enter. And there you go. Now, what's the point of this? Legibility. Is making formulas that are legible. I know the practice is making formulas as short as possible in financial modeling, and I agree with that. But the thing is, whatever formula you have to build, just try to make it legible for people. So here I'm just share another tip. So, for example, why did I color that cell? Well, that cell, because this is a spill range, the spill range just lived on the first and top cell of the array. So now, because I colored it, see, now that section expands itself. And that's kind of cool because it just contrasts with the rest of the area adjacent to it. So now, as you can see, that formula for me is easy to say: array multiplied by 10%, array, and then increment minus to 100. Easy, you know. And these, if some of the folks that have seen my work, they will find some, I know, some formulas that are long, but I try to write them down so, you know, if I go back to it, even if it's my own work, I can read it faster. And that's the point of legibility and readability, which is accessibility. All right, let's keep going. Control 1. Okay, this is probably if John Peltier is still on the session, he will say that this is his probably your keyboard shortcut, his most favorite keyboard shortcut for charts. And yes, because as soon as you placed it, you get the format control for charts. But for when it works with numbers, for example, I select all of these numbers and maybe do Control asterisk. Okay, check that, because I did Control asterisk and it selected a whole array. I could have done Control A, but I get to the bottom of it, and then I have to press Control backspace. So Control asterisk, hold down Control asterisk, and it just stays there, which is kind of cool. So I really like it too. Okay, once you're there, you do Control 1. Okay, Control 1, and then as soon as you get the format cell window. But what I also see is that they do Control 1 and they move around with the mouse. So what I tell them, hey, you know, you can move around the window also as well. So how do I do that? Cancel, Control 1, and then this is a bit like you can see that there's a tab that is already pre-selected, which is number right here. How do we know it's pre-selected? You can see those like dots around the tab. That means that it's pre-selected. So as soon as you're there, as soon as you open the format cell window, you can sort of jump around into the next section, which is the category. And then once you're there, how do I know that it jumped? Well, let me show you, because if I do Shift Tab, see, Tab, Shift Tab. Well, Shift Tab, okay, Tab, Shift Tab, Tab. You can see the dots are already placed there. I press Tab again. Now I can move around this area with your keyboard shortcut. You know, I can move around. And once you're here, again, also what you can do, maybe let's convert these numbers to percentages, or those are going to be huge numbers, but maybe just format this. You can jump into the next section and maybe decrease the decimals, just leave it no decimal, and then jump into the next section, thousand separator, check that, and then you can also hit enter, because there's another button that is kind of like pre-selected, which is that OK button, where you can see the blue border right here. Okay, and then enter. And as soon as you do that, we change the formatting. So Control 1, awesome with format cell. Again, if you go here and Control asterisk, Control 1, now you can do tab. But as you see tab, you want to move around across the tab. You move one up across here. So what you got to do, first of all, is that you Shift Tab first, make yourself that you're located there. And then once you're there on that, once you see those dots around the tab, then you can, with the arrows, you can move around the tabs. And the same thing with tab, you can jump into the next section and Shift Tab. Okay, holding down Shift and Tab, you kind of like move backwards. Okay. Let's move to the next one. We're there. Okay, we have there. Control D. Okay, Control D is pretty much and Control R pretty much is the basic thing that you can sort of format something, and just for example, maybe I have this here, and maybe I want to copy this formula here again with this format. So what I can do is Shift arrow, right arrow, and do Control R. As soon as I do that, see the format also copy it. And say, for example, you had Control D is the opposite, just down. So for example, I could say, I don't know, maybe I can do sum of this total, Control backspace, enter, and bold it. And then I want to copy this total for the next 3 cells with that bolded format. I do Control D. And that's it pretty much. But sometimes this is kind of helpful because you formatted a whole custom formatting to a cell, and you just want to copy that to the next rows, and mostly because of formatting, not mostly because of the value. Then you switch the value. So Control R for the right, Control down for downwards. All right. So next one. Oh, Control Page Up. Well, you see me already. I mean, you can, instead of just clicking on the worksheet with the mouse, you can just basically move it around very fast. Okay, we're on 9, right? Okay, very fast around the worksheet. Okay, but you have to hold down Control. Okay, that's the essence of this. This is why I'm showing this section of the video, because a lot of people, when I train them, they don't find it intuitive. They do Control and then Page Up, and I tell them, oh, no, it's not gonna work like that. You have to hold down Control and then do the next combination that is required for the keyboard shortcut. Okay, so number 10. We already saw this one, but it didn't work. Let's try it again. It's just this one because it's the annoying, like when people press this function key F1, they get the help and they're like, I just don't want to, they get confused. They start to learn about F2 and they get confused and they pressed F1, but they want to close it. Let's see if it works. Control Alt Spacebar. Nope, it doesn't work. But let's try something here. Let's do this and do F1. Control spacebar. It doesn't work. Okay, let's just put it here. All right, and do F1. Control Alt Spacebar, and there we go. See, it works. Probably because maybe it's because it's on dock that it doesn't work. And now I'm finding out this, and then just move this with your arrow and then press close, and you can close it. Let's do F1, Control Alt Spacebar, and then you can close it like that. But now, if it was on dock, we got a solution. Let's do 1. Maybe this is another bonus. There we go. How do we get to this, knowing that we have 2 workbooks open? Maybe let me just press that. Okay, and accommodate accommodate this. All right. So the function F6 right here. F6, 6. My bad, you cannot see it well, but okay. F6 after number F5. Okay. So as soon as the thing about that one is that you jump from the ribbon section, which is hard to see, but once you check out here sheet, you will see a black border. So as soon as I press it, I jump into the border. Now, if I do, like, for example, the menu button, I can get to those options with the keyboard shortcut. No, I can get to them. So again, let me just do this and do this. F6, I get to the worksheet section, menu button, and I get to this. But now, from that section, okay, so let's just cancel this. The next one is gonna be this section right here. So F6 again. Now it's very hard to know how I do it. It's just by experience and practice, but I know it's on that section, and now you press Control Alt Spacebar, and now I just can close or even move this or even resize it. So there you go. So Control Spacebar, in case you just want to calm a lot of it of that annoyance of F1. Shift 10. So Shift 10 is the equivalent of the menu button. So for example, if I'm here and I press the menu button, which a normal keyboard will include it, you get, the menu button, and you can navigate through it, through all these options. Okay. Bonus. There's like a letter that is underlined. So if you were to press D, it will delete. If you press I, it will do insert. If you get G, it will go to Power Query. So in essence, what I'm telling you is that you can do menu button and then G, and then you will open Power Query editor. Okay. Let's keep going now. Oh, Carlos, what happened? I don't have the menu button on my keyboard. I work with the keyboard shortcut on laptop, and they don't have it. All right, so that's why you need Shift F10, or potentially Shift F and Shift and function F10. So let me just show it here. Shift FM, and it should work. It doesn't work. Yeah, I hate when this happens on live session. Let me just switch the language, and let's test. How about Shift 10? Nope. Yeah, but it should work. Shift 10 is universal, and it should work. Sorry for that. I do have the menu button right here on my key on this Logitech. Barely use it. I'm very used to Shift F10. And the reason for that is because these keyboard shortcuts that I'm telling you, all of them universals. You have not seen me doing Alt and then a combination of these letters. No, because what happened to me is that in 2010 I learned all of them, and then when I migrated to the 2013, many of them changed, and then I was frustrated because it was hard to unlearn it. So that's why I went to the universal combination of keyboard shortcuts, just like the ones that I have just shown. Let's keep going. Control G. Oh, Control G is awesome because also, for example, I can be here and I can just, and if I'm working on a massive workbook and like that has many worksheets that have many calculations, especially like financial models, I can just Control G and I can go to that. I know that, for example, if I try A1 and enter, I go to that. But if I do Control G again, the cool thing is that that's kind of like recorded right here. So for example, I can maybe do Control G and maybe do like C150 and then enter. And it brought me to that. Okay, and then if I do Control G, C2, well, we should have recorded it. Again, another discrepancy. It should have recorded it here, the last section that I went to, and not doing it. But aside from that, again, sorry for that, is that if you do Control G, you go to special, okay? Why is this keyboard shortcut cool? Because one day I noticed somebody telling me, hey, how do I do a faster way of filling down blanks? What do you mean? So this is what they were kind of struggling with. Let me just show you. Yeah, yep, just this is perfect right here. As soon as they saw me doing it fast, got me a consulting gig from a class guy into a consulting gig. So like this, this is classical, right? Delete this, delete this too. Oscar, how are we doing questions? I haven't checked because I'm just trying to go fast, but
there's just one question that's come in. If you want to run through that now, we can wait till the end.
Oh, yeah, I'm almost done. So this is classical, right? People will do this, manually, double click. I've seen this so many times. I'll tell you, hey, no, you can just fill in real quick. Like how? All right, do this. Control asterisk, do Control G, Alt S to open, go to special, and then go to blanks. So you can do it like this, or you can do K because you can see their underline. Do enter and plus sign, equal sign, sorry, the cell above and Control enter. And there you go. And that's it. And then people will see that me doing it really fast. Back in the day, I don't do that anymore. I found another way to do it, but with pivot tables. But for example, a lot of folks do that. So again, Control asterisk, Control G, Alt S, K, enter, equal sign, and then Control enter. Now, the point of here is not saying, oh, it's about being fast. No, it's that, for example, the keyboard shortcuts allow you sometimes to work fast and precise. And that's good because sometimes you're on the momentum. You're like going at it and really like they ask you for something within an hour and you just have to do it fast, but fast and precise. So that's why I like keyboard shortcuts because the mouse sometimes can just like, you can go a little bit over or a little bit under. Let's keep going. Control Q. Ooh, Control Q is one of my favorites. Top. Okay, so you see all these array that I have here? So what I can do is Control asterisk, and then I can, well, actually, let's just bring to and let's just eliminate this. So Control asterisk and Control Q. Look at this. Love that options right there. So I can turn any array into a chart right here. So as soon as I'm there, I can just basically go to and plot this, if I wanted to. So maybe I just do, as soon as you do Control Q, and then you jump into this section, you go to it's already pre-selected because you can see the border around formatting, okay? And then I can do Tab again to jump into that section, and then move right arrow key, and then enter. And immediately I just put conditional formatting to that. Now it's not the best formatting, right? But Let's just Control Z. Oh, Control C is paramount. Control C to go back. Control Y to go forward. Do Control Q, and then tab, and maybe do bars. And again, you can see minus and plus sign. A little bit visual, but for example, at least you know that this one number pops up more than the rest. You can also do charts. It's not limited to that. So Control Q, and then move to the next section, tab, and then you want a scatter plot, enter, and it plots you a scatter plot. So just with Control Q, you can get to a chart real quick. Let's keep going. Got three more. Oh, Control O, 9 and 6. So, I mean, 0 and 9. These keyboard shortcuts are dear to me because, for example, let's just hide this and hide this. So if I know that this worksheet right here, Control Alt minus to zoom out, if I know this is gonna be like this worksheet right here is gonna contain the data and just that table, and this is not gonna be used, all this space, all these columns, then why not just hide them? Oh, there's some text there. Let's just delete that. Okay, and let me zoom in. So the way to do it with your keyboard is just to do Control Spacebar to select the whole column, Shift Control right arrow, and then Control 0. And you just hide everything. And look how different it looks now. You see that gray area as opposed to, as opposed to the blue area. Now, you know the blue area is the working area. The gray area is just not gonna be used. And I think this is good practice because at least you tell the other people, hey, this is the working area of this worksheet. Now you can do the same with the rows. So if you know that the table is just gonna like be up to there, then all these rows below are I mean, they're not gonna be used, right? So why not just hide them? So you can go to that section right there, Shift Spacebar to select the whole row, and then Shift Control down, and then Control 9, and that's how you hide rows there with your keyboard shortcut. And now I don't know if we will see because it was a big table, but at least we know, for example, and if we go to the bottom, there we go. There you go. See, a working area that is the blue area. The other ones are grayed out, meaning it's not being worked on this humongous worksheet that has 10,000 columns and 1 million rows. All right. Let's just now go back to this, and now a couple of the last two keyboard shortcuts. Oh, Alt Shift arrows. So I have my haters. I will admit that. Because no, I'm just kidding. I have no haters. Peace and love. But the thing is, like, for example, what a lot of people do is that they hide columns like this, and yeah, that's tricky business because the only evidence, the only breadcrumb that I have that's hidden is that if you are a little bit attention to detail like me and check out the header and be like, hey, OR, hey, there's a couple letters hidden. So I tell people, hey, you got columns hidden there? Oh, yeah, I do. And they even forget because, again, the only evidence that I have is that O and between O and R, a couple letters are missing. And also, I can just like, you can see that small space there that kind of like signals you that right here. This is what I'm referring to right there, you know, but that's not enough. So what you can do now, say if you wanted to hide columns because it's necessary, it is required for the job at hand, do Alt Shift arrow, and that is Control Spacebar, Control Spacebar again because you have to select the whole column, Control Backspace to get to the top, and then say I want to hide this one and these three. Okay, then Alt Shift, you have to hold it down, clutch analogy, and right arrow, and as you do that, immediately you get this nice signal, nice bar with the minus sign that tells you now, if you hide it, at least I know that between column I and M, something is hitting. And that's right there, that section right there. Oh, Carlos, but how do you open that with your keyboard? It's a nice trick, but how do you open that? All right. So that's where Control O comes into play. Now you do Control O, and now you just hit it. Carlos, how do you unhide it? Because I don't want to do it with the mouse. All right, so the one that I have that is universal is like this. Do Control Spacebar, and select the two adjacent columns, okay, the ones on the side, and then you do menu button or Shift F10, okay, or menu button in this case, and there's gonna be a an option that says on high. Oh, where is it? Ooh, first time I don't see it. Well, let's do this something here and do menu button. Oh, that's weird. How about now? Oh, okay. Okay, when I did Control Spacebar, I selected a whole column. Control dot to go to the streams. See, Control Spacebar selects the column within the table. So you have to press Control Spacebar again to select the entire column of the worksheet, and then select the two adjacent columns on the sides, then do menu button, and now we see the option of on high or U. Why U? Because U is the one that is underlined. I think I mentioned this before. So you do U, and then you open that again. So you can do the same actions with the mouse or with your keyboard, but you have the options. And now just to last, the almighty Alt Shift 0. And this is for yeah, this one also is land me a consulting gig because they were impressed that they could just add the subtotals, especially subtotals, into a range. What do I mean? Let's do this. So let's just copy this into, I think it works on table, but I don't want to try and fail, but let's just do a range. And let's copy this range right here, this range right here. Just basically into another sheet. Oh, you saw me doing the mouse. No. We gotta be loyal to the keyboard shortcuts. So Shift F11, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, for a new worksheet, Shift F11, and then Control Alt V, pasted with the formatting. Okay, and this is a cool thing. Okay, look, you can do Control Shift L and do, say you want the centrals. Okay, maybe a little bit. Maybe just let's decrease this so we can see and delete that. We don't need that much data. Just the north. All right. And a lot of people, what you can do is actually you can just do some, but I don't think it's gonna work. So you can do some of this, and probably, is this correct? It's not correct. There's a couple of lines hidden, and that's not giving you a correct sum. It's giving you 5,900. Here it's giving you 14. So how do we get something that is dynamic and immediate according to the cells that are filtered? So that's when this keyboard shortcut comes into play, because now you can press Alt Shift 0. Ooh, and it does subtitle with the parameter 9, which is sum. And do Control Enter. And as soon as you do that, then that's automatically placed. And now if you remove the keyboard, the filters, look at that. Beautiful, because now you can go to another region and say I want south, and now the total is correct again. And I could keep going, but I want to answer that question if we still have time, Oscar. So let me know. And I just want to end up and say thank you. I mean, that's my website, Spill Graphics. I mean, that's the blog that I run. That's me in the picture. And in case if you want to follow my blog, or in case if you want to know more about the keyboard shortcuts, this is my YouTube channel called Spill Graphics, mostly focused on graphics and charts and tricks and all that. But there's a section here, if you go to my YouTube channel here, that I made of 15 keyboard shortcuts. If you click on this playlist right here, where it says, you can see them, all of them. And I plan to release the other ones, but my hard drive where I made this went south, and I'm still trying to recover. So I got 20 keyboard shortcuts that I recorded very enthusiastically, and my hard drive went south. And I still, I mean, there's a possibility to recover it, but I still haven't had time to do that. And once I get those recordings and edit them, I can publish them here again. But here is the keyboard shortcuts explain. I take time. Control backspace, 21 minutes to explain a keyboard shortcut. A lot of people have been saying, why so much minutes to explain something? Because I'm going to give you variations of the keyboard shortcuts, give you different contexts, different settings, you know, where the keyboard shortcut is usable. So that's why some of them are shorter. Maybe it's 8 minutes, for example, on this one, Control 1. but a lot of the ones are lengthy. And the one that is and the Fantastic Four is just 9 minutes. So that gives you sort of the fundamentals. So that, and then my Spill Graphics website here, or blog, you can know more information about me on About. And you can also check out my blog where I kind of consolidate a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff, especially chart focused, Power BI graphics, enhancing the defaults, Python in Excel, which is coming soon, galleries and resources and all that. And that's it for me. I mean, Oscar, we can go to the question.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have to run through this now. But we did have a comment saying that they love the video and screen share setup you have there, and I had to agree. I thought that was excellent, so thank you for that.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. I mean, yeah, I mean, again, like, I mean, thank you for the commentary, because the way I set it up like that is because I noticed a lot of folks, and this is a bit of my hack. I'm just recording my screen, so that's like, that was my hack. That was the hack actually, to record the videos, and just to, because I found this so interesting that people, they mention keyboard shortcuts, but the other side, my thing is like, do it, and they release and then press the next keystroke, but you still have to hold down one of the Fantastic Four, Shift, Control, Alt, or FN for laptop. So yeah, thank you for the commentary.
And then there was the question of, is there anything that you recommend using the mouse for rather than the keyboard?
Oh yeah, well, the mouse is your best friend when it comes to charts, especially because the precision. The charts has so many elements, so many things to enhance, that is way faster just to
Would take a
use
while to tap through everything there. Yeah.
Yeah, the nice mouse. The nice mouse is your best friend with charts. He's your best friend. But if it's just working on the spreadsheet, the keyboard shortcut will cover you with, I will say, 98% of all the stuff. There's a couple of areas that I haven't found how to get to. For example, I don't know how to get to this area right here. If people want to tell me, if people know how to get to this area, let me know, because I have tried just to open this with the keyboard shortcut, or try to find the keyboard shortcut. There's gotta be a keyboard shortcut, but I still haven't found it. So if people want to go and find out, let me know. What was that question, Oscar? In case maybe I can answer it.
Oh, that was the question about recommending the. Oh, there is one more, which is doesn't hiding rows or columns blow up file size?
I'm not sure about that, though. I'm not sure about blowing up the size because of hiding. I didn't hear that. This is the first time I hear that, but it could be possible. I wouldn't say no, that's not true. No, not at all. I'll research about it, but to be honest, it's quite surprising to hear that. So yeah, I'll research. I'm surprised. Maybe it is true.
Thank you very much for your time.
Yep, I'm okay. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Thank you for the time, and thank you, Liam, and thank you, Oscar, and thank you, the whole team, for the opportunity. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.